My name is Beth. I'm sitting in a cozy, rented apartment in Toronto, looking out at the snow-covered trees. It's been a year since I bought that one-way ticket out of Nashville, and as I reflect on the past, it all comes back like a storm. It was a rainy Tuesday night when my world shattered. I'd just gotten home from work, exhausted. I was standing in my small kitchen, heating up some leftover soup, listening to the rain hit the window, when my phone rang. The screen lit up with a photo of my sister, Lily. We used to be so close, but that night, it was the start of the end. "Beth, I found it. The perfect house," she shrieked with excitement. I could barely keep up with her words. She rambled on about a charming bungalow in a nice neighborhood, near a cute coffee shop. I tried to be calm and remind her that she wasn't in a position to buy a house. She had no stable income, a poor credit score, and no savings. But she wouldn't listen. Then came the bombshell. "The house is listed for $450,000, but we can get it for $425,000. Dad's co-signing the loan, but we need a 35% down payment. That's about $148,000, and you have to provide it," she demanded. I was stunned. I'd been saving for 10 years, and that money was my security, my future. I told her no, that it was my life savings. But she didn't care. She started to scream, saying I was greedy, that I had a good salary and could save it up again. She even said that Dad had already told the realtor we had the funds and sent them a copy of my bank statement. I was furious. I realized that my family had been treating me like a walking ATM. I remembered all the times they'd taken advantage of me, and I finally found the courage to say no. But I knew it wouldn't end there. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed with a text from my father. "Sign off on the transfer for her mortgage or don't come back. We don't have room in this family for selfishness." Those words cut deep. I'd always tried to be the good daughter, the one who did everything right, but in that moment, I saw the truth. I was just a resource to them. I decided to leave. I packed a suitcase in a hurry, like I was escaping a fire. But before I left, I wanted to know how deep the betrayal went. I sat down at my computer and started auditing my own life. I logged into my primary bank account. Everything seemed okay at first, but then I found out that my father had added his email as a secondary recipient for my bank statements 4 years ago. He'd been watching my savings grow, waiting for the right moment to pounce. Then I checked my credit report. To my horror, I discovered that Lily had opened an American Express Gold card in my name. She'd been using it for 3 years, living a life of luxury on my credit. She'd stopped making payments 2 months ago, and my credit score had taken a nosedive. It didn't stop there. I also found out that she'd drained my old savings account at the credit union, the one I'd opened when I was 16 to save my waitressing tips. And she'd even changed the beneficiary of my Vanguard investment account to herself 6 months ago. I was sick to my stomach. I felt like I'd been stabbed in the back. I printed out all the evidence of their betrayal and put it in a manila folder. Then I called my financial advisor, Mr. Thompson. I told him I needed an emergency meeting the next morning. I was ready to go to war. The next morning, I sat in Mr. Thompson's office. He showed me a thick file. "Beth, what I found isn't just bad money management. It's systemic fraud," he said. He told me about the attempts to take out a $40,000 personal loan in my name and the attempts to refinance my student loans. My father had even started the mortgage paperwork for Lily's house, assuming I would pay. I was in shock. I realized that my family had been planning to trap me. If I'd signed that mortgage and Lily defaulted, I would have lost everything. Mr. Thompson advised me to freeze all my accounts, dispute the credit card as identity theft, and file a police report. When I walked out of his office, my phone was buzzing non-stop. There were missed calls from my mom, Dad, and Lily. The texts were full of anger and blame. My mom said I was tearing the family apart, but I knew the truth. The so-called peace in our family had always been my silence. I decided to cut them off. I blocked their numbers. I knew they wouldn't stop at just texts. They would try to shame me into submission, so I needed to get away. I booked a one-way ticket to Toronto. I called my landlord, told him about the family emergency, and was willing to pay the lease break fee. I spent the night packing. It was a strange feeling, trying to fit 30 years of my life into 2 suitcases. I left behind all the family photos, the memories that now felt like lies. I called a junk removal service to take away the rest of my stuff. At the airport, I felt a mix of fear and relief. I had no job, no apartment, and no family, but I had my savings and my dignity. I boarded the plane and didn't look back. In Toronto, I started a new life. I got a job at a logistics firm, made new friends, and started dating a nice man named Tom. But I still thought about my family. I wondered how they were doing, but I reminded myself that I couldn't save them. A few weeks after I left, my friend Sarah called me. She told me that Lily didn't get the house. The police investigation into the theft from my account had led to a wider audit of her finances, and her car had been repossessed. My dad had tried to go to my old office to get information about my paycheck, but security had escorted him out. My mom was a shadow of herself, hiding from the world. A few months later, I received a handwritten letter from my father. He said that Lily was pregnant and needed help, and that they were willing to forgive me if I came back. I laughed. Even after everything, he couldn't apologize. He could only command. I dropped the letter in the recycling bin. It's been a year now, and I've learned that family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by respect. I've found peace and a new sense of self. I'm no longer a safety net or a victim. I'm free.